Hi everyone, welcome to Ed's Metal. Hope everybody had a good holiday season and Happy New Year to y'all. Anyway, we got a little project to do today. Nothing real big, just kind of a thing that I felt the need for, I guess. But I'll show you what we got going and I'll explain where I got the parts there a little bit. But anyway, what we're gonna do, we're going to make a little table stand to sit next to my anvil in the back in the blacksmith shop, part of my shop. But this isn't my anvil in the blacksmith, but they're identically built, or the same, the height of the pedestal and everything. So I'm going to build myself this little table here. Some expanded metal. I just happen to have that piece of expanded metal. And 1.5 inch by 1/8 angle iron. And anyway, it's going to be, I'm hoping for 2 foot off the ground here. And then I'll set it on the back side of my anvil and the back of my blacksmith area, and I can lay, hammers, tongs, punches, wire brush, whatever on the back side. So when you're working on your anvil here, and if you got that stuff on the back side, it's easy to kind of grab and go, whatever you got to do, wire brush, punch, something like that. But anyway, we got 3 pieces of our framework cut, and I got to cut one more. We'll show you that. But I had this plow disc. I don't know what the diameter of it is. It looks like it's about 1 foot. But I'm hoping it'll make a good base. 16 inches, so that ought to do pretty good. And anyway, I have these 3, I think they're spacers off of this plow disc or something to fit in between the plows. And I collect too much junk, but anyway, I'm gonna put a piece of 1 inch square tube fits in that square hole in that disc. I don't know, usually I don't have a whole lot of luck welding to this because it's real springy steel and it breaks the welds, but I think for this purpose it might be all right. But anyway, and this is just a sample piece of 1 inch sitting in there. I need to have a longer piece to get to the top of these, but anyway, they sit on there like so. They do have a crown on one end and kind of a inset on the other end, so they so they fit around the disc down here. But anyway, that's basically what we're going to do there. So that makes my pedestal, and then we'll put the table on the top of here somehow. I ain't decided how we're going to mount it yet, but probably a piece of angle iron going across the bottom of that table. But anyway, that's going to put us right at about 24 inches tall, a little taller. But so we're going to see if we can't get these 3 things welded together and a piece of 1 inch square tube that'll stick out the top here, or at least make it to the top of this. I don't know if it has to stick out, and then we can weld it all together, and that'll be our pedestal for our little tabletop here. But I've had this plow disc and junk around here forever, so I figured I'd use it for this project and see how it works out. But anyway, I'll set you up over here and show you how I'm cutting these angles on this continuously on this without having to flip the piece around and all that stuff. We got it set up on a 45 here. Each time you cut one, you gotta waste a piece. It's about this big that you waste, but it's a little bit easier than trying to get them all the right length and then put the 45s on them. So we'll get this set up and cut one. Alrighty. We'll get this flipped around, and like I said, each time you gotta you gotta burn that one little bit of this to keep the miters going the right way. Get it flipped around here and make sure we're still on our stand back here. But try to cut it as close to your other miter as you can. You don't get it too close, the blade slides off to one side, at least mine does, so this probably needs a new blade by now. Alrighty. Get a little juice here. Like I said, when we cut this, we're basically wasting this piece here. This isn't too bad, I guess, in the overall scheme of things. This way you can kind of cut this with this angle iron. You can cut a continuous 45 because you got to flip it over to cut the other opposing miter. So I got the downward pressure tightened up so that it don't want to run off. It cuts a pretty nice 45 then, as long as you don't run it through there too fast. At this point, when I'm working for myself, I'm never in too big a hurry. Anyway, when we flip it over to cut the other miter on the other end, I got this block that I flip it over and stick underneath there to squeeze it between the jaws here. I'll show you that when we get that far, but that's the way you can cut this angle iron continuously down there, by having something that fits inside of it so you can still clamp it tight. Alrighty there. Got that piece. That's our waste piece like I was talking about. Now flip it over. Make sure we don't fall off of our stand back here. Anyway, stick this piece in here underneath there to clamp, be able to clamp the, it holds against this leg of the angle iron and keeps it in the, clamp tight in the saw. Okay, we got to have a 21 and 5/8 here from the point. 21 and 5/8. Double check that. 21 5/8. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put a 45 on the top of this so that we know we're pretty close there. All right, there we go. 21 5/8. Got our block of steel in behind the vise here to hold it. So we'll advance it here and whack this 45. Whoop. Well, I was telling you about falling off the stand. I just did. So gotta move our stand up there. Alrighty. Keep our block back. Now the cut. Line up our 45 with the blade. Looking good. Tighten down. It's holding good and secure. Let her rip. Our shot out juice. Like I said, I have this tension maxed out on this so that when it drops off that flat and cuts through just the 1/8 inch, it don't slam it way down through there. That seems the way I can get a good miter with this saw anyway. Slow but sure. Getting there. A little bit slower than I planned on. Probably getting to be in need of a new blade. I've cut a lot of metal with this saw blade on here. It's I had some Starrett blade stock that I was able to get welded into this. What are they, 63.5 inch blades on here. 64.5, I guess. But I've cut a lot of metal with this one that's on here, so it's probably due for a life of in the scrap bin. Getting there. cutting through the corner of my block there, my spacer, and it seems to be really taking a long time. Sorry about that. When I film for you guys, then it takes forever to cut. Ah, we're getting there. Holy smokes, come on. Alright, my angle peak. As you can see, I did cut through my spacer block. It wasn't intended, but that's why it took so long to cut through that one leg of that metal. Oh well, I don't know. At least it cut through it. But all right, we'll go over here and clean it off a little bit and deburr it. Deburr it real quick on the belt sander. Like I said, sorry about that cutting through that block. That took longer than I expected. But anyway, that's our fourth piece of our tabletop. We'll get everything squared up and we'll start doing some welding on this and see if we can stick all these things together here. Figure out what length we need for that piece of square tube in there and move on from there. Alright, we got her set up on the welding table. This corner of my bench is pretty square, so that's where I started. But then we just did the measure, corner to corner measurement. 31 3/16, and tapped it around until we got the 31 3/16, got the same measurement on each side. My piece of expanded metal is not real square, cut real square, but I think it might sit in here. If not, we'll just have to trim that up a little bit. All right, we'll get the welder fired up and we'll do a little bit of tacking this thing together, see what it looks like. Alright, according to my handy dandy chart here, I'm going to go high side on the welder down to 1 and about 40 on the speed dial for the wire feed. We're running 35 5/1000 wire, mild steel wire, and a C25 gas mixture. That's all I ever run on my MIG welder. So we'll get this baby tacked together and see how we come out. Lay a nice tack down in here. First one, the gas wasn't going. Alright, now tack out here. Good tacks around here. Unclamp it. Piece of expanded metal fits in here. Oh yeah, that'll be alright. Put a little clamp on here to keep it going out of sight when I weld it. We'll jump across corner to corner, corner to corner. Hopefully we'll keep it square, pretty square. Try to get those corners welded on the outside. know, getting a lot of porosity in this. I've been having trouble with this gun not giving me no gas. Alright. We're going to stop and do a little grinding, and I'll bring you back here in a bit. Alright, we're going to weld the pedestal together for our little table here. Show you what we got. We got these, they're off of a plowed disc. I think they're spacers that went between the discs. But we're going to use 3 of them. That and the disc over there come up to about 2 foot off the ground, so I think that's about the height I want it to be. So we're gonna see if we can get these welded together. I don't know what they're made of. They grind like they're steel, sound like they're steel, so let's see if we can get them tacked together here. This as you might have heard in my last video, I was having a little trouble with my welder. This would be the first time I fired it up. I took the gun apart, and this is a old Miller. It's a 40-year-old gun. G20C, I think it is. GA20, something like that. I had to look at the paper again, but this tube inside here screws down on a fitting. That was actually loose. I don't know how it ever spun around through the years, but it was actually loose. I think I was losing all my gas out down here in the handle, so I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. All right, let's see if it works. Tack them together here a little bit, and then we'll roll them around and see what happens. Yeah, I'm still not happy with that gas flow. Must be more to it than I think. Here there, it's just this metal. This metal's pretty crappy looking. We'll continue on here and see what happens. Yeah, something's not right yet. A lot of porosity in these welds. If it was for anything else other than this, I'd probably quit. But it's going to be perfectly fine for a table. I'm going to stop after this and see if I can figure something else out on this welder. Alrighty, we got our pedestal tacked together. We're going to see what we can figure out on this welder before we go too much further. I'll bring you back. Alrighty, here we are back. It's been about a week since the last segment of this video. You know, when I was welding, I was having terrible trouble with getting any shielding gas to my gun. So I did take the old Miller down and looked inside the cabinet. I put it all back together, but checked the solenoid. It was firing. Changed out flow meter with this other regulator. No difference. So I couldn't figure out what to do, so I went to a buddy of mine who's got a newer welder similar to this, but I borrowed his gun. It's got the same back end here as my Miller. From my research, most Millers are pretty much the same. Some of the plug right there, this is a 2-prong connector. I seen one that had like a 4-prong connector, the newer one. But anyway, borrowed his gun and we gave it a try. Works like a champ. So here's the dead soldier over here. Like I told you, I took apart the gun, found a couple loose fittings, and put a couple new O-rings on the back end here. But there must be a break somewhere in this hose, because when I was welding with this gun, the flow meter would indicate flow, but I had no shielding gas at the tip. So I was losing it somewhere. In the process of checking everything out for this welder, it was kind of flabbergasting to me because I couldn't figure out where the flow was going. But I checked, there's only one, well, there's the hose from the bottle down to where it connects to the solenoid, and then there's a hose from the solenoid over to where it connects to the feed rolls housing. But I checked all that, no leaks there. So I narrowed it down to the gun, basically, and I proved that by borrowing my friend's gun and running it on this machine with no problem. Now, I went around town looking for new MIG guns and comparing prices. The 3 welding shops I stopped at, they had, several different kinds. Raynor, I think it is. Miller was way out of my price range. A couple other brands, I don't remember. But none of these shops had Tweco guns, which I was surprised. I thought that was an industry standard, more or less. But one thing I did notice, shopping for them guns is that most of them are made in China. It was amazing to me. I thought there'd be a MiG gun made in the United States, but evidently not. But anyway, they all range from, I'm gonna say 3 to 375 for a 250 amp, 15 foot long, 35 thousandths wire MiG gun with the Miller back end. So I thought, well, I'll come home and search the internet as usual. Well, run across a couple on Amazon. Again, brands I've never heard of, and I won't mention the brand now until I get it, and we'll show it to you then and see if it's any good. But as far as the pictures show, it's no different than a couple of the expensive ones I looked at the welding shops, and this one was only $100. So we're gonna find out if you get what you pay for on this deal or not. But anyway, now we can continue on with our little table project for by the anvil in my blacksmith shop. Whoops, you can see where we're at here. I got the framework made, got the expanded metal cut. I got my 3 pieces of whatever they are from a plow disc welded together for the post for my table. And we'll get you set up and we'll tack this thing together and see if we get it pieced together this afternoon finally. It's been quite a road with this, fighting this welder trouble, but we'll get set up here and get going on this again. Alright, let's get this column tacked on. This will be the support that runs across the bottom of the table over there. Got everything centered up. And now we'll check it for level here. That ain't too bad sitting right there. Gotta go back that way a little bit. Give it a tap on that back side and see what it does. over and some tacks on the other side. Hold up the other side. Had a little bit of a gap to fill up there, so I kind of did a spot weld type thing down there. So I don't know how much it pulled it or not. 3 inches, looking good there. Now comes the trick. We're going to see if we can weld anything to this plow disc. I don't know how well this will work or not. We're going to find out. I was thinking about putting a piece of 1-inch square tube down through here. Go ahead and do that. See what we end up with. this off a piece of square tube here. Let's see if we can get this fit down over here. In case you're wondering, my bench is pretty level, so I can level off of the bench. Alrighty. Now, let's get set up over here to try to put the base onto the top. I don't know yet if I'm gonna that square tube in there or not. We'll see. Centered up on our top frame here. Got some spacers in there to hold everything good and clamp down. We'll go ahead and stick this on here. You guys fall off the table. Alrighty, there she be. Whoop. Probably sit by my, like I said, my anvil in my blacksmith shop is the same exact stand as this, basically, as this anvil. So it'll sit off to the back side of wherever I'm not working, and I think that'll be a, it'll probably collect more stuff than I want to collect on there. But the size was dictated by the piece of expanded metal I had. I didn't want to have to cut it or change the size of it, because it would have been ended up with a little piece that I would never use. Now what I got to do is I'm gonna put a couple eighth inch straps across here to level out that expanded metal with this outside angle iron frame. But that's it. I don't think I'm gonna leave that square tube in there. I can knock it out of there, so I don't think it does any good at all. But there it is right now. We'll bring it back in a bit when I get a little farther along. Alrighty, we scrounged around the junk and found some 1/8 inch scraps that we can put in here to level this out for the expanded metal. Also, I found these 2 brackets. I think I'm gonna stick them on the side here, and be a good place to put hammers or tongs or something. But anyway, all right, we'll get to putting this stuff together. See how she comes out. Get you guys set up at a spot here that won't be too bad, hopefully. There we go. Get yourself a view there. Alrighty, we'll get fired up here and get that stuck on there. Nothing else will make handles to carry it around. work for this. Another battery. I'll be right back. Alright, a green light, we're ready to go here. Alright, now comes the tricky part. Can't get some tacks on this thing. Hold it in. Usually you can tack this stuff if you stay by this thicker webbing here. Get out on these little things, you kind of burn through them, but we'll try it. I'll get a few of them tacked. I won't bore you with the whole process, but we'll get it stuck in there and see if it works. See, get it tacked by that thicker stuff, It usually stays in there pretty good. I switched my welder over to the low side. Low side, 6 on the heat range and about 30 on the wire feed. So that's good for, I think, 10 to 12 gauge, something like that. But we'll get a couple more tacks on this, and then I think we'll just call this the end of the video here. Tacked in there. Like I said, I'm not gonna have you watch all of me tack all the way around this, but you can almost see this one right here. I kind of missed that thick spot and almost burnt that thin spot out of there. But anyway, well, thanks for joining along. I'll give you a shot of the finished project here when it's all done, but it was a table build, welder repair, all in one, I guess. Well, give me a big thumbs up if you appreciate this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Well, here we are with our table behind my anvil here. You can see I got a few things just thrown on there, but yeah, I think it'll work out good. Means I got no place to set anything down around my blacksmith area here. Sorry for the lighting back here, but it's very, very cloudy out today. Usually I rely on sunshine to light this area. But anyway, there she is. Another project in the record books. We'll get around here to doing some blacksmithing here one of these days. Thanks for watching. Like I said before, thumbs up and share it with a friend if you will. Thanks for watching.